Thursday the 7th of August, and we're back at it again. Same place, same mood, same questions swirling around Celtic Park. 24 hours on and still no sign of a new signing. You start to wonder seriously, is Celtic actually going to bring anyone else in this summer? Or are we all just going to sit here refreshing Twitter until the window slams shut? But before we get tangled up in transfer talk, and believe me, there's a lot to get through, let's quickly rewind to a match that might matter quite a bit in the coming weeks: Kairat versus Slovan Bratislava. Yeah, we're talking Champions League qualifiers. And while it's not exactly a blockbuster clash on paper, the implications for Celtic are very real. So yesterday, the first leg went down in Kazakhstan, and it ended in a narrow 1-0 win for the home side Kairat. Now I know what you're thinking. Who's actually watching Kairat against Slovan on a Wednesday afternoon in early August? But I did the dirty work, and let me tell you, it was a pretty decent match, especially from the Kazakh side. Kairat came out flying. They had 3 decent chances within the opening 6 minutes, and honestly, they could have killed the tie, right? There! Slovan looked like they were still jet-lagged. Long trip, awkward pitch and all that. The away side did try to settle, but you could feel it. The game was tilting heavily in Kairat's favor. Now, the big turning point came midway through the second half when Slovan went down to 10 men. Rahim Ibrahim, who to be fair looked out of sorts most of the match, picked up his second yellow, and suddenly the Slovak side were clinging on for dear life, and they nearly managed it. For all the pressure Kairat applied, it looked like Slovan were going to leave with a respectable 0-0 draw, which would have made them strong favorites going into the return leg. But then 90th minute drama. Kairat win a penalty. Soft one if. We're being honest. Looked like it came from a set piece, maybe a shirt pull, maybe a push, nothing major, but the referee pointed to the spot without hesitation. Stepping up to take it, a 16-year-old named Dastan Sarpayev. And if that name doesn't ring a bell now, it might soon. Because this kid's already agreed a move to Chelsea when he turns 18 in a deal that'll break transfer records in Kazakhstan. And he showed exactly why they're betting on him. At just 16, he calmly tucked away the penalty like he's been doing it for years. Pure composure, or 0-0 Kairat. But that wasn't all. Deep into stoppage time. I'm talking 97th minute. They score again. Ricardinho finishes it off, looks like 2-0 tie over. But the flag goes up. Offside. And to be fair, it looked marginal at best. Slovan may have just escaped what would have been a hammer blow. Oh, and just to add more spice, their manager Vladimir Weiss, who fun fact used to coach Kairat, got himself sent off from the touchline. No idea what he said, but maybe it had something to do with his outfit. Let's just say it wasn't his finest hour in terms of fashion. So what does all this mean? Well, the result puts Kairat slightly ahead, but I'd still back Slovan to turn it around next week, especially at home. Kairat have this weird pattern. Strong at home, very shaky away. In fact, they've won all 3. Of their Champions League qualifiers at home this season, haven't conceded a single goal. But take them out of Kazakhstan, and it's a different story. The travel, the pressure, the occasion, it tends to get to them. So Slovan in front of their own fans with 11 men on the pitch this time, I'd still make them favorites. Now, from a Celtic perspective, does it really matter who we face next? I mean, some fans are already panicking at the thought of a trip to Kazakhstan. The long flight, the time zone, the logistics. But personally, I'm not too bothered. Kairat would be tricky, sure, but also beatable. We've seen it before. These long-haul European trips can be awkward, but if you do the business at home in the first leg, you're halfway there. And if it's Slovan, then fine. Still a decent tie, still winnable. Either way, it's not something that should scare us. Not with Champions League qualification on the line. And look, if we're being honest, the bigger concern right now isn't who we might play in Europe. It's who we're going to be able to put on the pitch. Because this transfer window from a Celtic point of view has gone from promising to frustrating in record time. At the start, we made a few quick moves. It looked like the board was serious. But now, the whole thing's gone quiet. Painfully quiet. And while fans wait, the squad's looking thinner by the day. Take Marco Tilio, for example. The move to Rapid Vienna is basically ready. It's a loan with an option to buy, and both sides seem happy enough. Rapid were already interested in him when we first brought him over from Melbourne City, so this deal's been brewing for a while. But here's the issue. Celtic can't actually let him go yet. Why? Because we don't have enough wingers. Simple. As that, even though Tilio hasn't played much, Barely made the bench, never mind the pitch. We're that short on wide options that we're holding him back until someone new arrives. That's where we're at. And apparently Rapid are happy to wait. They believe in the player and seem willing to be patient until Celtic sort their end out. But it all feeds into this growing frustration, the feeling that we're reacting to problems rather than getting ahead of them. It's not just Tilio, it's the whole recruitment situation. Now onto potential incomings. And again, it's a bit of a mixed bag. There's been some buzz about Adam Obert, a Slovakian international currently playing in Italy with Cagliari. He's just 22, turns 23 later this month, and he's got a pretty versatile profile. On paper, he's a centre-back who can also play left-back. But when you dig a little deeper, that picture starts to change. Most reports label him as a central defender, but from what I've seen, and trust me, I've looked into this quite a bit, Obert is first and foremost a left-back. That's where he's been playing regularly for Cagliari. Yes, he's featured as centre-back, but usually in a back three, and even then he's been used more as a wing-back than as part of the central trio. He's mobile, energetic, and offers attacking to threat down the left. And for Slovakia, well, there's a twist. He plays centrally there, but only because they've got David Hanko, one of their best players, locking down the left side. Makes sense, right? So from a Celtic point of view, this actually adds up. We've been needing proper cover or even competition for Kieran Tierney. Scales has been used as a stopgap at left back, but that's not a long-term solution. Brendan Rodgers has even hinted at bringing in a left back. And if Obert is that guy, it fits. He's still young, he's got experience in a top league, and he's used to playing in a role that requires a lot of running, a lot of defensive awareness, and a bit of attacking drive. Now, whether we'll actually get this deal done, well, that's the classic Celtic question. Reports out of Sardinia say we've already put in an offer, but Cagliari rejected it. They're supposedly looking for around 6 million euros. Are we willing to pay that? Or are we going to dance around it until someone else swoops it? Oh, because let's be honest, we've seen this movie before. Time ticking down, interest confirmed player keen, and then the deal collapses because we wouldn't budge on a fee. And all of a sudden we're scraping around in the final hours of the window looking for plan C or D. Obert's under contract until 2029, which means Cagliari are in no rush. They hold the cards. If we want him, we need to move fast and smart. There's also been chatter about the interest in a winger from Brøndby, Clement Bischoff, but as it stands, there doesn't seem to be much substance to that story. Feels like one of those speculative links that pop up every few days, so for now, not worth diving into. We'll keep an eye on it though. What's more intriguing is the ongoing link with Japanese players. Celtic's been shopping in Japan for a few years now, and with good reason. We've had some serious hits from the J-League, but the market's changed. When we signed Kyogo Hatate, a Maida, we were ahead of the curve. Those guys were stars in Japan and we moved quickly, but now everyone's watching. Bundesliga clubs, French sides, even top Belgian teams, they're all in the mix now. So the quality we used to get as first choice, that's harder to find. And that shift in the Japanese market is something Celtic fans need to be honest about. Back when we landed Kyogo Hatate and Dyson, we were pulling off top-level J-League signings. Guys who came in and immediately elevated the team. It wasn't just about their technical quality. It was the attitude, the work rate, and the fact that they slotted right into the system from day one. They didn't need months to adapt. They didn't arrive as long-term projects or backup options. These were starters. Kyogo was scoring goals for fun within a week of landing in Glasgow. Hatate announced himself with a wonder goal against Rangers. Remember that Almeida brought an intensity that changed the way we pressed from the front. They came in flying. But now it feels like we're shopping in a different aisle. Players like Yuki Kobayashi came in with potential, yes, but never really got going. Barely any minutes. Then you've got Hyun Jun Yang, who's been hit or miss, and now Hayato Aramura and Shunsuke Yamada, two more who have promised but are nowhere near the first team. And it's not just about their talent or lack thereof. It's about whether they're even being given a real chance to prove themselves. Brendan Rodgers has been, let's say, a bit lukewarm when talking about him. Not exactly glowing praise. Not exactly the manager putting his arm around him and saying, this is your moment. Which raises a bigger point. Are we bringing in players Brendan actually wants, or are we operating with two different blueprints? Here, because if Yamada, for example, was signed as a prospect for the future, fine. But right now, Celtic need first-team quality. We need players who walk into the starting 11, not guys who might be good in 2 years if everything goes right. We're aiming for the Champions League. That's the level. And if Rodgers doesn't trust the lads coming in from Japan, whether that's his personal opinion or based on what he's seen in training, then it's a waste of resources and, more importantly, time. That's not to say there's no value left in the JL League. Far from it. Japan still produces technically brilliant, disciplined, and tactically sharp footballers. But the rest of Europe's woken up to it now. We're no longer the only club looking. And that means if we want the top-tier talent, we gotta act quickly and decisively. Otherwise, we're getting what's left after the Bundesligas had first pick. Rio Nikagawa actually spoke about this recently. Someone who's followed the J-League for years. He pointed out that clubs like ours used to have first refusal on guys like Hatate and Kyogo. That's changed. Now the best Japanese players are jumping straight to the Bundesliga or La Liga or even Serie A, and while we might still find gems, they're fewer and farther between. So if we're still serious about tapping into that market, we either need to invest more, not just financially, but in scouting integration and trust from the manager, or accept that we're not going to get instant first-teamers from there anymore. There'll be projects. And with the pressure Rodgers is under, it's hard to see him betting his job on projects. He wants players who are ready to go now. That's the truth of it. Which brings us back to the bigger issue with this transfer window. Time is slipping away. We're deep into August now, and outside of a couple of early additions, Celtic's recruitment has hit a brick wall. No sense of urgency. No big names lined up. No feeling that we're preparing for the demands of a Champions League campaign and a proper domestic defense. And let's be real, this squad needs strengthening, not just in depth, but in quality. We've got positions crying out for reinforcements, and yet we're moving like it's mid-June, not 3 weeks out from a packed European schedule. We need another winger at the very least. A proper wide player who can stretch teams, beat a man, deliver quality in the final third. Not a punt, not a project, a proven option. We need depth at left back, which is where Obed potentially fits in. We probably need a striker too, unless we plan on running Kyogo into the ground again. And don't even get me started on central midfield. We've got good players, no doubt, but not enough of them to get through a 45 to 50 game season, especially if we go deep in Europe and domestically. Injuries will come. Suspensions will hit. We can't be relying on teenagers or makeshift solutions in February because we didn't get our act together in August. And then there's the other elephant in the room. Are the board really backing Brendan Rodgers the way they said they would? Because when he came back, there was all this talk from the club, from the media, about a new era, about ambition, about giving him the tools to succeed. But fast forward a few weeks, and you've got a manager dropping subtle digs in press conferences, referencing the market realities and the need for quality, not just quantity. Translation, he's not getting what he asked for. And now, I'm not saying we should go out and throw money around like we're Man City. That's not Celtic's model and never has been. But there's a massive difference between spending responsibly and being passive. Between looking for value and wasting time haggling over pennies while rival clubs snap up targets. And what worries me most is that we're losing time. Every day that passes without new faces in the door is a day lost in preparation. A day of missed training, missed tactical work, missed adaptation. By the time someone signs in late August, they're playing catch-up. And that's not how you build a team ready to compete on all fronts. It's not even about panic, it's about planning. And right now, from the outside, it doesn't look like there's much of a plan. We've been linked with a dozen names, most of whom never materialize into anything concrete. And when we do hear updates, it's often the same story offer too low. Talks ongoing, deal stalled. You know the script. Meanwhile, other clubs, even those with similar budgets, are moving with intent. They see the value in being ready from week one. Celtic, we seem happy to leave things to the last minute and hope it works out. It rarely does. And while all this is happening off the pitch on the pitch, there's still plenty to sort. Sunday's game against Aberdeen is a big one. Yeah, it's early in the season, but it's a proper test. Aberdeen are a decent side that will be up for it, and we can't afford to drop silly points this early, especially not with the fans already feeling edgy about the state of the squad. Performances need to improve, and fast. The last outing wasn't terrible, but it wasn't convincing either, and you just get the sense that unless we inject some quality into the side, we're going to find ourselves grinding through games rather than dominating them. What we need is a bit of inspiration. A signing that lifts the mood, excites the support, gives the dressing room a boost. Someone who walks through the door and makes everyone take notice. Right now, that's not happening. The squad feels flat. The fan base feels anxious. And the manager, despite his usual calm exterior, must be feeling the heat. Because if results go south, it'll be him in the firing line, not the people dithering behind the scenes. There's still time to fix it. Still time to bring in the right players, but that time is running out and the margin for error is shrinking fast. The club needs to act like it understands the scale of the opportunity and the risk. Champions League football. Another title pushed a chance to build something lasting under a manager who's already proven he can deliver, but it won't happen by accident. It won't happen if we're still sitting here next week with the same squad and the same problems. So let's see what the next few days bring. Hopefully we're not sitting here again tomorrow asking the same questions, wondering what's going on. Hopefully there's movement, progress, clarity, because Celtic fans have been patient. But that patience isn't endless, and with every quiet day that goes by, the pressure just keeps building. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. A storm may well be brewing in the East End of Glasgow as whispers surrounding LIEL Abada's recent remarks begin to circulate with increasing intensity. The young winger, who had previously enjoyed a positive relationship with the Parkhead, Faithful, has reportedly lifted the lid on what he allegedly describes as a toxic and disunited dressing room at Celtic. Though the club has yet to issue any formal statement, murmurs behind the scenes suggest the Israeli international has grown disillusioned with internal dynamics under the current regime. Sources close to the player hint at ongoing frustrations over cliques within the squad, lack of communication between senior players and younger talents, and what's been described as a cold atmosphere that's eroded morale over the past season. While no direct quotes have been published in official outlets, reports from those near to Abada claim he's voiced concerns to his national team, peers, and advisors. If these rumors hold weight, the impact on the squad's harmony could be profound. It raises unsettling questions about leadership within the club and whether manager Brendan Rodgers retains full control of the locker room. For a side aiming to reclaim dominance both domestically and in Europe, internal fractures are the last thing Celtic need. The timing of these alleged revelations could hardly be worse for Celtic, who are in the middle of pre-season preparations, with the aim of solidifying their campaign objectives. With the Champions League return looming and Rangers sharpening their squad across the city, such turmoil, if it indeed exists, may derail any early momentum. Observers within Scottish football circles have noted subtle signs of unrest in recent months, from inconsistent performances to cryptic social media posts by certain players. Could this be the explanation? While Abada has always been considered professional on the pitch, it's the off-field atmosphere that now seems to be under the microscope. Insiders whisper of training ground spats, frosty exchanges in a tunnel, and an overall lack of camaraderie that once defined Celtic's golden recent era. Some go as far as to suggest that certain senior figures are wielding too much influence, creating a hierarchy that leaves younger talents feeling marginalized. Brendan Rodgers, known for his man management skills, may now be facing his sternest test since returning to Glasgow. Should more players begin to echo Abada's sentiments, whether publicly or in private, a full-blown crisis could be on the cards before a single ball is kicked in earnest. Speculation has naturally intensified around the possible root causes of this reported toxicity, with fingers being pointed in several directions. Some suggest that cultural and linguistic barriers among a squad boasting players from across Europe, Asia, and beyond have contributed to communication breakdowns. Others believe that unresolved tensions from last season's squad rotation policies, particularly under pressure during European matches, have bred resentment among those who felt sidelined. The situation, according to whispers within Lennoxtown, is not helped by a lack of vocal leaders in the dressing room. Without strong figures to unify the group, fissures can deepen, especially in times of adversity. Though Celtic have publicly projected stability and ambition, those close to the team speak of a simmering discontent that no amount of PR can completely mask. Abada's comments, though unconfirmed, may simply be the first ripple in what could become a wave of disclosures from within. If the club hierarchy chooses to downplay or ignore these rumblings, they may risk allowing a deeper malaise to take root. For a club steeped in unity and identity, even the hint of division threatens to undermine the foundations built over generations. Of course, with the transfer window still open, rumors surrounding Abada's future have been reignited. In light of these alleged comments, could this be the precursor to a dramatic exit? Some pundits believe so, noting that players who express discontent rarely linger long. Particularly at a club as intense and media scrutinized as Celtic, agents and intermediaries are reportedly gauging interest from European clubs, especially in Belgium, France, and Germany, where Abada's pace and directness would appeal. If his claims of a toxic environment are indeed genuine, it would not be surprising to see the winger seek a fresh start elsewhere. Yet some argue this could merely be a tactical move to force a transfer or provoke change internally. It's fun, In any case, the implications stretch far beyond one player. Should others feel emboldened to speak out, the situation could rapidly spiral, putting pressure on the board to intervene. And for fans, already anxious about strengthening the squad, such whispers only deepen concerns. Celtic Park is known for its passion and unity, but if trust in the dressing room is eroding, even that famously vocal support may begin to ask difficult questions of those in charge. Whatever the truth behind LIEL ABADA's supposed outburst, the mere existence of such a narrative is disruptive. It fuels a media frenzy and encourages speculation that detracts from preparations on the pitch. Even without concrete evidence, the idea of a splintered squad has now been planted in the public consciousness. Rival supporters are quick to pounce, and pundits will dissect every gesture, every lineup choice for signs of discord. The club must tread carefully. A wrong move in handling the situation could validate the rumors or alienate key players. As of now, no teammate has come forward to deny or support Abada's alleged claims, which only prolongs the uncertainty. For Brendan Rodgers and his staff, the challenge is twofold. Either quash the speculation by reaffirming unity, or address the deeper issues if they truly exist. But with the season set to kick off imminently, time is not on their side. Dressing rooms, like any tight-knit group, can be fragile ecosystems. One voice of dissent, real or rumored, can unsettle even the most disciplined squad. Whether LIEL ABADA has lit a spark or merely voiced an inconvenient truth, the repercussions may ripple far beyond his own Celtic journey. Hello, fan! Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.